World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good day, I am Peñano with today's World News in 5. U.S. President Donald Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Thursday to advance Gaza ceasefire efforts and address a worsening humanitarian crisis. Witkoff's visit comes as famine fears rise in the war-torn enclave. The envoy is expected to visit Gaza Friday to assess aid distribution ahead of a final plan to improve food and medicine deliveries. President Trump on his Truth Social platform reiterated calls for the militant group Hamas to surrender and release hostages as the fastest route to ending the crisis. The U.S. also imposed new sanctions on Palestinian Authority and PLO officials, accusing them of undermining peace, a move that distances Washington from its European allies, some of whom are considering recognition of a Palestinian state. Meanwhile, Israel and the U.S. are said to be aligning on a broader strategy involving the release of all hostages, disarmament of Hamas, and the demilitarization of Gaza. Despite talks, fighting continues with at least 23 Palestinians reportedly killed Thursday. Amid growing international criticism, Israel has introduced limited daily pauses in its operations to allow humanitarian convoys through. Still, aid agencies report that supplies remain critically low and residents face threats from both Israeli forces and looters when trying to access food. Protests are mounting in Israel, with families of hostages demanding an end to the war. Hamas is believed to still hold around 50 hostages, with roughly 20 thought to be alive. In parallel diplomatic developments, France and Saudi Arabia released a joint declaration urging Hamas to relinquish control of Gaza to the Palestinian Authority, an idea Israel rejects. Meanwhile, some Israeli ministers are advocating for the annexation of the West Bank, drawing further criticism from Palestinians and the international community. Since the war began in October 2023, following a deadly Hamas attack, over 60,000 Palestinians have been killed, according to Gaza health authorities, with dozens dying from starvation. In our news, the United Kingdom, the United States, France, and 11 other nations issued a joint statement Thursday condemning what they describe as a growing number of assassinations, kidnapping, and harassment plots orchestrated by Iranian intelligence services in Europe and North America. According to Reuters, the statement denounced these activities as violations of national sovereignty and urged Iran to immediately cease all such operations. The signatories, including Canada, Germany, the Netherlands, Sweden, and others, warned that many of the plots were carried out with the help of international criminal networks. The UK government says it has thwarted over 20 Iran-linked plots since early 2022, targeting British citizens and individuals that Iran considers threats. Iran's embassy in London has yet to comment, but earlier this month dismissed a UK parliamentary report describing Iran as a national security threat as defamatory and unfounded. The British government has since required Iran to register all political influence activities, citing Tehran's increasingly aggressive intelligence behavior. More news overseas. At least 60 people have died in severe flooding across northern China, with 31 killed at a care home in Beijing's Miyun district, officials confirmed Thursday. Beijing Deputy Mayor Xia Linmao said 44 deaths were recorded in the capital, while 16 others died in nearby Hebei province. Over 30 people remain missing. Torrential rains peaking Monday dumped nearly a year's worth of rainfall in some areas, overwhelming rivers and reservoirs. The Qingshui River surged to 1,500 times its normal volume, officials said. Local authorities admitted flaws in evacuation planning, especially at the nursing home, which had 69 elderly residents. According to Reuters and Chinese state media, over 300,000 people have been affected, with major damage to homes, roads, and bridges. Experts linked the intensifying weather events to climate change, with Beijing experiencing its deadliest floods in over a decade. And that concludes today's edition of World News in 5. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, I am Win Peñano. Good day.
World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.